We're going to have to actually. Oh. It'll be during the last. And we'll call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much. We'll start with C2, items considered in closed session for action in open session. And I have a number of readmits here, and we'll start with case number 2017-18-29.
Move to accept the recommendation of readmission for case 2017/18-29.
I'll second.
Moved by Director Medina, second by Director Sheffield. Roll call vote, please.
Director Medina?
Aye.
Director Sheffield?
Aye.
Director De La Cruz?
Aye.
Dr. Montieri?
Aye.
Director Fong?
Aye.
Director McCormick?
Aye.
President Klose?
Aye. Motion carries. Case number 1819-21.
Move to accept the recommendation on case 2018/19-21.
I'll second.
Director Medina, second by Director Sheffield. Roll call vote, please.
Director Medina? Aye. Director Sheffield?
Aye.
Director De La Cruz?
Aye.
Director Montieri?
Aye.
Director Fong?
Aye.
Director McCormick?
Aye.
President Klose?
Aye. Motion carries. And case number 1819-31.
Move to accept the recommendation on case 2018/19-31.
I'll second. Oh.
Motion by Director Medina, second by Director Sheffield. This is the person I know I heard. Roll call vote, please.
Director Medina?
Aye.
Director Sheffield?
Aye.
Director De La Cruz?
Aye.
Director Montieri? Director Fong? Director McCormick?
Aye.
And President Klose?
Aye. Motion carries. To case number 1819-39.
Move to accept the recommendation on case 2018/19-39.
Second.
Moved by Director Medina, second by the very competitive Director De La Cruz. Roll call vote, please.
Director Medina?
Aye.
Director De La Cruz?
Aye.
Director Montieri? Director Fong? Director McCormick?
Aye.
Director Sheffield?
Aye.
President Klose?
Aye. Always coming in last here. Roll. Motion carries. There's one. Please hold. Okay. So for the last one, we will refer to student ID number 205489.
Move to accept the recommendation on case 205489.
Second.
Moved by Director Medina, second by Director De La Cruz. Roll call vote, please.
Director Medina?
Aye.
Director De La Cruz? Director Montieri?
Aye.
Director Fong?
Aye.
Director McCormick?
Aye.
Director Sheffield?
Aye.
President Klose?
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, and that brings us to C3, special presentation for Tammy Affonso, CSEA Outgoing President.
Come down, Tammy. I'll let you give her the stuff. So Tammy, on behalf of the Board of Education, the Cabinet, we would like to present you with this bouquet of flowers, a little envelope with something that we know you love to do inside of it. As a small token of our appreciation for your dedicated service to the CSEA members of Santa Rosa City Schools for 25 years.
I don't have a written presentation for this, except for I just want to make sure that I said something about your service. Just in the time that I've been on the board for the past 7 years, you have been, to me, like a shining light of positivity, and really, like, even in the most challenging times for the district, you always really think of us and describe us as a family. You are always thinking about students, and you're always thinking about the health and success of a district as a whole, and so I'm just really grateful for you for setting that tone and being an example in that way, and we will miss your service, and you have huge shoes to fill. Thank you.
Let's get the board members all together to take a picture with Tammy. Let board members get a picture of Tammy. Is that from teaching and learning? So. Tammy, those flowers are from teaching and learning right there.
Okay, so we have public comment in every meeting, including tonight, and I'll just describe what it is, and when I'm done, if I have no blue cards, then I'll assume there aren't any. This is the opportunity for the public to address the board on items not on the agenda. You can address on everything, on anything. We cannot comment or take action on it, and if you have an HR or personnel matter that we ask you to direct them to Assistant Superintendent Stacy Spector, I have no blue cards, and I have been talking for a while, so I assume there's no public comment. And that brings us to action item D1, to appoint Rick Edson, Deputy Superintendent, as acting superintendent during the superintendent's temporary absence, delegation of all related authority and duties beginning December 20th through January 31st, 2020. And this is an action item. And if you want to speak to the superintendent.
No, I think we're good. I think this says it all.
I do have one question for staff, and that is when Deputy Rick Edson is Deputy Superintendent, is the acting superintendent, does that mean that with that kind of authority that we can't make jokes and call him Deputy Dog, or can we still do that? Is that, or is it
acting
like
Deputy Dog? Well, since I am still in power at this point, I deem it necessary that we continue with the moniker.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to understand the rules here around this. Okay.
I would like to move to appoint Rick Edson, Deputy Superintendent, as acting superintendent during the superintendent's temporary absence.
Second.
Moved by Director Fong, second by Director McCormick. Roll call vote, please.
Director Fong? Aye. Director McCormick?
Aye.
Director De La Cruz?
Aye.
Director Manieri?
Aye.
Director Sheffield?
Aye.
Director Medina?
Aye.
President Klose?
Aye. Motion carries. Congratulations, Deputy Dog. Okay, D2, action item resolution for increasing compensation of board members in accordance with Ed Code 35120 and Board Bylaw 9250, raising board stipend in effect from $400 a month to $420 a month.
So I placed this agenda item at the request of the President Klose, with Director Omar bringing the subject matter up. So Director Omar Medina for bringing the subject matter up.
Director Omar.
So I turn it over to Director Omar.
Yeah, so I know at the previous meeting, the issue of attendance was brought up, and so it caused me to review the board policy, and part of that, I discovered that in 2001, SB 214 was passed that allowed boards to increase by 5% the stipend, which currently for us is $400 a month. And but it requires annual board action. So if our board had taken action every year, as it was allowed under that law, the current stipend, it would be $962 per month. But the board hasn't ever taken any action. And for me, it's an important issue because it ties to the ability of people to serve, access. You know, this work, I think, is devalued by the fact that it's paid so little, and I know board members here put in a ton of work, and I think what you pay people reflects how much you value the job. And so I think that it's important for us to start showing the value of public service and the work that board members do and people that run for office, and I think it would help encourage more people to run, especially as we've moved on to district elections and we need help with getting more people to run. So going from 400 to 420, it's not huge, but it begins the momentum head in that direction. So that's why I think it's important that we pass this 5% increase.
I'm going to call on Director McCormick. Director McCormick?
Thank you for bringing this up, and I think those are all excellent arguments. And as I'm wrapping up my first year, it is a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of serious work. However, I'm struggling with it, even though it seems small. I'm struggling with it because I feel like we're not paying our classified what they deserve yet. We're working towards it, but we're not there yet, and we're not paying our faculty what we want to be paying them. And so the board member in me is putting in the hours, likes the idea, and I also I really like the argument of, you know, that we need more participation. Part of the reason why I'm on this board is that no one ran for this area, and that's a problem. We want people to serve on this board. So I really understand that, but I'm grappling with it because I just want every cent that we can put towards salaries is really important to me. So I'm struggling with it, but thinking about it.
Yeah, Director De La Cruz.
I share your concern, Director McCormick. I'm never going to be able to look at you and not say Director Jill now. But I think, you know, in the same thinking in which I made a decision to make sure that we were looking at equity in the way that we pay our superintendent, even though the context was that we were still really struggling to make good our promises to also raise our classifieds and our teachers to regional levels. I mean, I think it goes exactly to Director Medina's point that, you know, this is a way for all of us to continue ensuring that we respect across the board the work that it takes to ensure quality public education. And so, you know, while $20 doesn't feel like a lot, I think for young professionals, for people who have never seen or imagined themselves in these seats, it's a nice cherry on top of that kind of plunge into lots of additional work, something that may feel a little bit scary, and I support it in that same philosophy of equity and figuring out how we encourage more people to take the plunge.
Director Fong and then Director Medina.
I really thank everyone's comments. I think just thinking on my own, when you choose a life of public service, that is a life of public service, and it's not very much, $400, but for a lot of people, $400 is a lot, but $420 is not going to encourage anyone else to run over $400. And I think given the next couple years of cuts that we're going to have to do, I'd be more comfortable looking at this after we make at least our first round of cuts. And I know it's only $1,680, but of course, we're always talking about meaning and optics and that kind of thing. So I would wait. I would vote to wait for a year.
Director Medina.
Yeah, I would say I feel like the board has waited 18 years, 19 years without doing it. So I have no problem in raising it. I understand the struggle is still the same for everybody. And any board member always has the option of not accepting their $400 or $420 or whatever it is. You always have the option to do that. Last week we talked about attendance. I missed 4 out of 34 meetings, 3 of them for being sick, 1 for being on vacation. In June, when there was 3 meetings, I requested that the $133 for that meeting, $133.33, be taken back from my stipend, since vacation isn't one of the reasons that's allowed. I'd suggest any other board members review why they were absent, and that's one way to give back. But I think it's really important that we not delay this anymore. We only have one opportunity to raise it annually. To me, it was urgent that we do it this meeting because it was our last meeting of the year, and then we could only do it once a year. And so if we lose out today, that's a whole nother year that we've missed. It then becomes 19 years of missed opportunity to raise, where it would have been up to $1,000. It might not seem like a lot, but for many people, it is significant. I think access is very limited because money is important to a lot of people, and so a lot of people are definitely restricted. And I understand the issue about we need to pay our classified and our teachers more. That's critically important to me. But to me, in the overall civil rights issue of allowing access for people to run, this is also critically important. And I think the President Klose also mentioned something about some other Santa Rosa, I think, county district in Florida that I think they get $40,000 a year. I'm like, well, okay, we're not that bad. So I think the value on the work is reflected in how much you pay it. And again, I think if the optics is a big thing, members always have the opportunity to give back what you receive if you don't have the need for it as much as others may.
Director Sheffield.
Hearing from both sides of the discussion here, I hear what Director Medina is saying about creating an avenue where we can draw in valuable representation. That the work that we do on this board is really valuable, and it really, really is time-consuming. Increasingly so, at least on my time on the board, it seems like every year the demand of the job increases because the demand of the students increases. But then I'm torn on the optics side of it, and we've had many heated discussions with faculty on salaries and paying people what their worth is. And so it comes down to me making a decision on the optics, and I am leaning on the side of postponing this. I want to be able to walk the walk and be able to say I stand by, where I am, that we're all in this together. And that's all I have to say.
Superintendent, did you want something?
I just wanted to speak to the 1680 and how that calculation came about. It's 20 times 12 times 7. So I just wanted that to be clear.
I'll say, Director Medina and I had, by email, a pretty rich conversation about this issue and about issues of equity and related to service on the board and privilege, and I really appreciated that. And I think we, from my perspective, I think we both got a lot out of that discussion. And I think that, I think about the board composition, and I'm sort of disappointed that I'm not giving my annual report before this discussion, but I think the board composition when I joined was a whole lot different, looked a whole lot different, and the houses they lived in looked a whole lot different than what the board looks like now, and which is, I think, a good thing. We have a more diverse board that is a result really of district elections primarily, and I'll reiterate, but I'm going to do it in a much clearer way this time, that at least in one case we had a walk-on and the district won the lottery, in that we got an extraordinary human in Director Manieri. I can't imagine having a better board member, and she walked on, but that could have been anybody. And so we need people to run. We need people to run and to feel able to run. And I'll speak from personal experience on, Director Medina called me supervisor. Thanks for the promotion. But tonight I'll go by on my last night like Grand Poobah instead, I think. But actually there was a period of time when there were some folks talking to me about running for third district supervisor this year. And I said, I can't afford it. And they said, but it's a paid position. And I said, no, but I can't afford to run. I am a working stiff like the rest of everybody. I sell my time, I work a lot, and support myself, and I can't afford to run. There is no possible way that I could afford to run. And similarly, with district elections, what's interesting is that even though theoretically it's less of a campaign because it's a smaller district, I actually think what we've seen thus far is in a contested head-to-head race, it's actually a tougher campaign. It's actually more time in, boots on the ground, real door-to-door campaigning because you can. And so I do think this is an access issue. I think it's unfortunate that our predecessors didn't see this as an issue over the past 18 years, and I do appreciate them saying we're not going to take more money from the district than we have to, and I would, reiterate that what Director Medina said, that if you don't need the $420, you by all means can waive that. And I also actually would encourage the district to look into other ways to provide some kind of compensation to board members so that people can run who come from different backgrounds. So, and at any rate, I support this, and I wish we would have started doing this sooner. But I certainly understand kind of the optics issue. I understand us saying, Director McCormick, Director Fong, Director Sheffield, I understand us saying, particularly to CSEA members, that we can't quite bring you up to everybody to minimum wage yet. I think the effect is pretty marginal. It's a small amount, so I'm comfortable with it. And I also am comfortable with it because I know we have a very concrete plan to bring people up. And in general, I think what we're saying as a district is that we're really committed to figuring out how to be the most efficient district possible so that we can bring all of our staff members up, all the people who serve the district in such a dedicated way to a place that we can really call a living wage. But really, for some folks running for this, like this really could be the difference between operating on a living wage or not, and could be a different, could be the difference of whether or not they can afford to run, so whether or not they can even afford to throw their hat in the ring. And we want contested elections, we want there to be competition. We're not gonna win the lottery every time, so we need to make sure that we have a lot of competition going in. So that's why I would support it. Director Medina.
I just want to say one thing. I heard the word postponement used twice, and to me, this isn't, to not do it now wouldn't be a postponement, because I see it as a use it or lose it. If you don't do it this year, you've lost this year's opportunity to raise it, and then next year's next year's chance, but this year's chance would be lost.
All right, so it's an action item. Director Medina.
I'd like to move that we adopt Resolution 2019/20-025 for an increase in compensation of board members in accordance with Ed Code 35120 and Board Bylaw 9250.
I second.
Moved by Director Medina, second by Director Manieri. Roll call vote, please.
Director Medina?
Aye.
Director Manieri?
Aye.
Director De La Cruz?
Aye.
Director Fong?
No, no.
Director McCormick?
No.
Director Sheffield?
No.
President Klose?
Aye. Motion carries. And that brings us to annual organization of the board, or first reports, and then, or my report, and then annual organization of the board. All right, so, and this is right on point. I ended my last year's speech noting that partly by chance and then also by district elections, we'd become probably the most diverse board around. Someone from every decade, the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, white, Latino, Asian, African, gay, various letters of the LGBTQ plus population, some native Santa Rosa and some who landed here later in life, lawyers, educators, nonprofit leaders, governmental affairs, experts, some graduated from our district, some have kids in the district now. And this was an opportunity to show that having a board that's more representative of the community, it serves, is different and is good. And I'll say that after a year, I will say that it is good. I think we have demonstrated that, and you know we've gotten a lot done. First of all, we appointed a new director, an excellent director, Director De La Cruz. We, with the group of us, came up with a strategic plan that I think is excellent, that I think we can be really proud of, and we did it in a way in a manner I think we can be proud of, that was really sort of visionary and not a negotiated, plan where we give and take in a way that hurts students or staff. I think it was visionary, and it's something I'm proud of. We approved contracts with our staffs that increased the benefits and started to move us closer to living wages for everybody, and closer to state averages and closer to what people deserve. Of course, we still don't get enough money, and that's always going to be a struggle. But I think we got there closer, and we did it in a way by making the district more efficient, looking at where we can cut, and I applaud staff for that effort. You know, we worked really hard and really thoughtfully around the admin salaries to make sure that we were always going to be competitive with attracting our highest level leaders, and that was a tough job, but I know that we did it thoughtfully. I know it also took some compromise on, some selfless compromise on the part of our administrators, particularly our superintendent, but I know that it was undertaken with the best interest of the district, and I applaud the board, the very new board, for being strategic and smart and tough in that process. we got into more and more discussion and moves towards bringing ethnic studies into our curriculum, both embedded, all the way TK through 12, and then also talking about some addition of specialized classes. And everyone has shown their support for that. We loved specifically hearing the last time about the potential of having social justice math. Bring it, please. But this board is real supportive of that. We joined the city of Santa Rosa in encouraging downtown smart development by mirroring their impact fee adjustments and adopting the Santa Rosa Downtown High Density Multifamily Impact Fee Incentive Program. We really joined the community in saying that we need housing now, and smart housing. Approved a new English language learner program. We heard from and definitely expressed the support for hearing more from student voice through the Youth Truth surveys. We have been providing, I think, more oversight in our progress for implementing A through G standards and asking for and providing more scrutiny over data for that, and the admin has been giving that to us and will continue to give more of that to us. But I think everybody's being really thoughtful about making sure that student success is our first priority, and that we need to support staff in getting there. Through our negotiations, or through some of our labor negotiations, we did something that I am really excited about, which is that we, along with SRTA and CSEA and the admin, agreed to participate in a facilitated relationship building and communications task force or process that hopefully is gonna help starting to move the needle culture in our employee relationships, so that we can get more done for students and do it in a way that is more positive for everybody and improves the morale for everybody working in the district. I'm really excited about that. At long last, decades, we came to a new agreement with the city to use our Fur Ridge property, where we get to sell it, and then we are gonna use that money to roll it over and create a down payment assistance fund for our staff, which is, I think, game-changing and amazing, and really excited about that. We did some work around next-gen science standards and started looking at the high-level classes as well. But mainly, I think that this board has been having some really new and rich discussion around everything that affects students, whether it's the way they wear their, or the kind of caps and gowns they wear and how they choose that, whether it's how we honor students coming from different cultures and backgrounds, and that wouldn't necessarily happen from every board. And I wanna appreciate specifically the board members and some of the things that they bring. I really appreciate Stephanie and Omar, directors Medina and Manieri, for the perspectives they bring as Latino graduates from our district, and pretty recent ones, or at least pretty recent one, and who work in their professional lives really closely with the Latino population. It's been really happy, or it's been a good thing to have that input. So I appreciate that. From Alegria and Omar and Ed, the perspective and wisdom of folks who have a long history working in organized labor, thank you for that. That has been really helpful. From Jill and Lori, the perspectives of passionate, deep thinking, and student-centered educators. You both also bring this really tremendous curiosity about how to always do it better. You've both been in this business for so long, educating students, so Lori for so long, Jill for like kind of a long time. But, and yet still, both of you are, I mean, truly models of lifelong learners. You constantly are learning, or talking about and learning how to do it better and to do it better for students. So I really appreciate that. Stephanie and Jill and Alegria, one thing that I notice about the three of you is how the three of you sort of sit back and really listen. You are such good active listeners, and you wait, and your comments are always really thoughtful, and I appreciate watching you listen and learn with some curiosity and take some time before you come back with questions and comments. Now, Omar, I really appreciate your attention to procedure, and I really appreciate your enthusiasm. And you've really done a good job shining a light on how much we've been doing over the years based on past practice instead of policy, and that there's a gap there, and that you have made clear because of your attention to that. Now, I'm going to acknowledge that sometimes this creates some awkward moments and perceived tension and little train wrecks in the meetings, and that's because you recognize that we are following some past practice that I learned just going on the board, and everyone was following the same past practice, but actually isn't written in policy. But ultimately, so that's positive, and it's just sort of what happens when there's a major turnover. And I think, so I analogize this to like in family counseling, when there's a problem with the family, there'll be one member of the family who's referred to as the identified patient, but that identified patient isn't actually the problem child. That identified patient is just saying, hey, there's a problem with the family. And so I appreciate you taking that on, Omar, as being the identified patient, because you have really, in sort of whipping out the policy and the law and challenging how we are doing things by past practice when there might not actually be a good policy reason for doing that, you're doing it for the good of the board and always with the best intentions, and I know that. And I also have to say that I was telling a certain former superintendent one day about you in the middle of the, I said, oh man, he whipped out this policy and this law in the middle of the meeting and it caused a big train wreck, and she said, oh, just kind of like how you were as a first-year board member, Jen. And I said, oh, right, point taken, got it. So I know it is always with the best intentions. I want to acknowledge how important it has been to have Spanish-speaking board members. It was important during fires, during the PSPSs. It's important during closed session when we have families come in, to have families get to be spoken to by board members directly and not through a translator, and to have families who know that they're being understood straight away. It is really, really huge, and it is great for our students to look up and see and hear board members who also speak Spanish as their first language, and I just want to acknowledge how crucial that is, and particularly during our emergencies, the translation services, and just being frontline speakers. You know, I can go on KBBF and enjoy it, but it's not the same when it's going through a translator. And who knows if Rafael's translating me right? I sometimes wonder. But no, that frontline communication is really huge, so I appreciate that. So kind of in closing, I just want to say, I was excited for this year and to have this really new board, and excited to say that I think we're doing a good job, and we are being a good model, and I think the community can look up and say, yeah, this is a good thing to have a board that is more representative of our community. So thank you all for your service and for a good year.
We'll turn it to President Fong. President Fong.
Vice Grand Poobah for tonight. Yes.
This is Jenny's last meeting that she's chairing as president, but she will still be with us for a year, and she'll be in another chair. So today we pay tribute to Jenny for her unprecedented 3 successive terms as president of the Santa Rosa City Schools Board, Board of Education. I don't know how we convinced you to do that, but you did. Thank you very much. The work behind this role is really largely unseen, even by our fellow board members. We don't always know what Jenny is up to or what she's doing to increase capacity and pave the way for us. She's increasing capacity and the effectiveness too, so that we can fulfill our role as the public educational institution in our area. So as president and a board member, she exemplifies professionalism and does a remarkable job of keeping things focused on the mission of the district, however a challenge this may be. And by the way, this is a little talk from the board, not just me, the board. Jenny passionately expresses the importance of public service, specifically as it relates to the governance of public education. Maybe those things, those procedural things you brought up way back, you continue to do that, right? It's good. We're gonna count on you to do that still. You are strategic, you're a systems thinker, and our efforts on behalf of our district span the spectrum from grad requirements to staff housing support for Ridge, to garnering new funds for our district via community supporters behind the whole foundation thing. And with the major turnover on the board, she served as the foundation and a guide for our 4 rookie school board members, and Ed and I as well, when we, with everything from parliamentary procedure and protocol, the Brown Act, I don't know how many times I messed up on that, and she reminded me gently, preparation and research, institutional knowledge, communication with faculty, staff, and the community that we serve. We believe that the hallmark of her presidency has been to assure that all students have access to a powerful education so they can reach their potential, including the opportunity to attend college if that never was in their mindset before. She supports this in her personal life with the College Tea Project that she founded and continues to this day. And she supports this in her, this allows elementary kids particularly to have this mindset of college when maybe never before. Jenni is fierce in the face of adversity, and she leads with her heart, and she leads with integrity. She's passionate about her students. She takes extreme ownership in her decision-making and governance. She doesn't shirk anything, and she does the meaningful and difficult work behind the scenes that makes the difference for all of us, for our district, for our kids. And importantly, she understands the power of influence. She engages in her community a lot. We don't even know half of it, I'm sure, to inspire more to be educational supporters, to grow that support for our students. We can't do it by ourselves. We are very blessed to have had her serve as president of the board in a time of unprecedented change. She has put her stamp on moving our district forward, and we are more powerful because of her leadership, because of your leadership, Jenni. Thank you from all of us.
I tried to cue this up, Jen. Hey, DJ Sheffield.
Finally, thank you. It says, man, see what's happened since I've been on the board? This is, I didn't used to do this. Actually, it says Jenni Klose as our CS board president, 2016-2019. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, I'll keep it close. Okay, well with that, we do have the annual reorganization of the board, starting with the election of the president, and for that I turn the gavel, this gavel, the old gavel, over to our clerk, Director Manieri.
Do I get to use it at any point?
Sure. Yeah, use it.
Can I use it now? Okay. Thank you, President Klose. As clerk of the board, I am responsible to open up the election for president. I am reading off of a script. So I am looking for someone to be nominated for president of our school board. Are there any nominations? Director Sheffield?
I nominate Director Fong.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
All right, are there any other nominations? All right, can we do a roll call vote, please?
Director Sheffield?
Aye.
Director McCormick?
Aye.
Director De La Cruz?
Aye.
Director Manieri?
Aye.
Director Fong?
Aye.
Motion carries. Congratulations, President
wait.
Fong. Oh, sorry, I'm just kidding.
I'm not quite done yet. Director Medina?
Aye.
President Klose?
Aye.
Now can I say it?
That's it.
Congratulations, President Fong.
Madam President.
Thank you, everyone. I'm now going to accept nominations for Vice President. Are there any nominations? Director McCormick.
I nominate Director Sheffield.
I second.
Are there any other nominations for Vice President?
I was going to nominate Director Manieri.
Do I second?
Can I say something? Am I allowed to? I respectfully decline the nomination. Thank you, Director Medina.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? All right, nominations are closed. We are going to, all those in favor, I think we can just do that, right? Do we have to roll call?
Let's do a roll call.
Let's take a roll call vote.
It was a motion by Director McCormick and a second by De La Cruz. Okay. Director McCormick.
Aye.
Director De La Cruz.
Aye.
Director Manieri.
Aye.
Director Fong.
Aye.
Director Sheffield.
Aye.
Director Medina.
Aye.
And Director Klose.
Aye.
Congratulations, Director Sheffield and new Vice President of the Board. I'm now going to accept nominations for clerk. Are there any nominations? Director Medina.
I'd like to nominate Director De La Cruz.
A second?
I second.
Thank you. Are there any more nominations? No other nominations? Nominations are closed. We'll take a roll call vote.
Director Medina.
Aye.
Director Manieri.
Aye.
Director De La Cruz.
Aye.
Director McCormick.
Aye.
Director Sheffield.
Aye.
Director Klose.
Aye.
President Fong.
Aye. Congratulations, Director De La Cruz. You're now the clerk. All right. Does that mean I have to take over now? Or is it just the next meeting?
No.
Oh. Yeah, right here. So we are at D3F, appointment of superintendent secretary to the board. I think this is the same kind of action. Do we just, can we also just say aye? We have to
I'll
move
move
it.
approval to appoint the superintendent as secretary to the board.
I second.
That would be Director Klose and Director Medina. Can we have a roll call vote, please, Lori?
Director Medina. I'm sorry, Director Klose.
Aye.
Director Medina.
Aye.
Director De La Cruz.
Aye.
Director Manieri.
Aye.
Director McCormick.
Aye.
Director Sheffield. President Fong.
Aye. All right, thank you for being the superintendent, secretary to the board, superintendent. Moves us to D3G, selection of the voting representative for vacancies on the Sonoma County Committee on School District Reorganization. Director Medina.
I would like to move to reconsider the vacancy for CSBA delegate. The nomination for that.
I would second that motion to reconsider.
How is that related to school district reorganization?
So I'm moving to reconsider a vacancy, to reconsider the vacancy that we had before, so that we could hopefully nominate you, Director Fong, for the CSBA delegate nomination.
So we're going to slip that in between.
Yeah, so since it's a vacancy at this point, I'd like to see if we could move to reconsider that vacancy, that item that we skipped before, to do it now.
The last meeting, we did not nominate anyone to the CSBA board delegate, as a delegate, correct?
Correct.
And in Robert's rules provides that in the next meeting, one can bring a motion for reconsideration. So Director Medina is bringing a motion for reconsideration of that item to reopen that.
And so it's not connected to this one here, school district organization?
No, it's just his opportunity to bring it up. Because
Okay.
he's actually moving to reconsider a past item. So that item now needs a second for reconsideration.
All right, so I have a motion on the floor by Director Medina.
By Director Klose.
Any discussion? I accept.
No, you have to move to reconsider first and
First,
approve
we're gonna
that.
reconsider.
This is going to be hard. Let's not have a year of this.
So get approval for the reconsideration first.
May I have approval for the reconsideration, please?
So roll call vote.
Director Medina?
Aye.
Director Klose?
Aye.
Director De La Cruz?
Aye.
Director Manieri?
Aye.
Director McCormick?
Jill?
Sorry. Aye.
Director Sheffield?
Aye.
President Fong?
Aye.
So now I'd like to move to nominate Director Fong for the CSBA delegate vacancy.
I would second that nomination.
I just want to say something. I think it's important that one of us, you are already a CSBA delegate.
I am a CSBA delegate as appointed by the region, and we can have more than one CSBA delegate. It's two different kinds of ways to be a CSBA delegate.
So I want to go on public record that is important for us, want more of us to be on the CSBA delegate board, just because we have a strategic priority goal of number 7 about garnering support, speaking out in the legislature, and being a presence in the state for education. Okay,
It also is not certain that I will continue to be, or either of us will continue to be on the board.
It's a
and you must be
nomination.
on the board in order to be a CSBA delegate. So
Right. Okay, so I think it's been nominated and seconded by Director Medina, then Director Klose.
Do you accept the nomination?
Yes.
Director Medina?
Aye.
Director Klose?
aye.
Director De La Cruz?
Aye.
Director Manieri? Director McCormick?
Aye.
Director Sheffield?
Aye.
Director Fong?
Aye. And that is our meeting. We have D3. Oh my gosh. Oh, there it is.
To be fair, we did throw a little monkey wrench in your first.
So now we're doing
moments
D3G,
of
right?
presiding.
There's a fly, which is why we're all waving, right? Selection of the voting representative for vacancies on the Sonoma County Committee on School District Reorganization is the issue in front of us. Diane, are you speaking about this?
No, I hadn't planned it. It's one of that comes up regularly. I do believe I see Director Sheffield's hand up.
This one, I just need clarification because it's my understanding that it's based on district, on supervisorial district. And we've brought this up before. I currently serve. There are other, I mean, it's a really interesting way to see how things are done countywide. Great opportunity, but I believe it is based on district, and I don't know where those vacancies are.
And I think, wasn't this what you nominated Ms. Chavez for?
Yeah,
Dr. Medina?
so I nominated Ms. Chavez. Ms. Chavez accepted the nomination. So because I wasn't sure on this item, I contacted SCO to find out what was going on with this. And apparently for each district, they send out a voting sheet to one person. It's my understanding that it was sent out to President Klose, or former President Klose, and the voting on this ended last week. So last Friday, this ended. So there was 2 vacancies for the 1st district and only 1 nominee for the 4th district, which is what we nominated for. They wouldn't give me any names, but I'm assuming it was our nominee. So basically my understanding is that if there's quorum amongst all the votes that were returned, the winner amongst those that voted gets it. If there wasn't quorum, then the superintendent appoints someone.
Okay, then can I speak to this? So I was confused about this as well and thought we'd get some explanation. I thought maybe there was another vacancy in another district. Deputy. Rick?
This is actually if there is a vacancy on the Sonoma County Committee on School District Organization. This isn't to appoint somebody to that committee, so you'd be the representative vote for Santa Rosa City Schools, and it'd be by absentee ballot. There'd be no meeting requirements. You are just the designated person to receive the ballot on behalf of Santa Rosa City Schools for the Sonoma County Committee on School District Organization.
That's what voting representative means.
Correct.
That's the only duty.
So I think if you remember, Mr. Christoph was this position as on the board, right?
Yeah, he was actually on the committee.
He was on the committee.
This is a non-committee position. This is simply you cast the ballot on behalf of Santa Rosa City Schools Board of Education.
And I think historically that person has actually just been the president of the board.
Right.
And like, for example, I directly got the ballot and voted for Ms. Chavez in accordance with our board vote last Friday, and submitted it last Friday. Yeah.
Wait, put your thing on. Put your mic on.
Sorry. We all heard that.
You're serving on it now?
I'm serving on it now. And that's why I don't know what the vacancies are currently, or maybe we missed that window of vacancies. I'm
Hey, Lori,
confused.
What do you have in front of you for this?
It's exactly what Deputy Edson said. The only job that this person has is to cast a vote if there is a vacancy. So
A vacancy of a person.
Correct.
Not anything to do with organization, district organization.
No.
That's the difference.
right.
So you serve to speak about district reorganization. This person is just voting for somebody to be on the committee,
They receive the ballot.
which is why ex-President Klose
Right.
received the ballot.
Right, I think that this historically has just been the board president, because that's like, those are the things that I receive.
That's not necessarily the case. It was Ron Christoph in the past several times, and when he
We
was
just
not
didn't even
president.
know
So.
that. Okay, thank you.
So I think President Fong, I am so confused about titles. I think we could go ahead and move forward with this item, and any representative that would wish to serve.
Do I have a nomination for this position, which is only to,
I nominate Director McCormick.
I second.
oh, I didn't hear you, McCormick. Second? De La Cruz. Any other nominations? All right, so we have Jill McCormick as the nominee by Director Sheffield and seconded by De La Cruz.
Director Sheffield?
Aye.
Director De La Cruz?
Aye.
Director Manieri?
Aye.
Director McCormick?
Aye.
Director Medina?
Aye.
President Klose? Director Klose?
Aye.
President Fong?
I'm still confused on the president business, but yeah, yes, aye. Now, it is item E. Are you having another song for us? Okay. And we are adjourned.
Thank you.
There are cupcakes for your pleasure in celebration of all that there is to celebrate tonight.